Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to follow up on your line of questioning. Basically, an unreliable backup means there is no backup, as far as I'm concerned. In aviation safety, critical systems need to be redundant and resilient. I know that FAA has since implemented a software update to fix Newark's backup, but it never should have had a chance to fail in the first place. And there's absolutely no question that we need to fix our antiquated air traffic control facilities and equipment. Each one of you have been vocal voices for fixing the system across multiple administrations. We held a hearing examining that very issue last year, but a technological overhaul would take years, and we need to know what FAA is doing now to fix this. Mr. McIntosh, how often does FAA inspect air traffic control infrastructure at airports across the country to ensure that the backup systems will immediately kick in the event of a radar and or communications failure? Basically, how often do you simulate the main system going down and to make sure and test the redundant system to make sure that it actually does kick in?
There are required maintenance checks that our technicians do, and they are very vigilant in doing that. To answer your question, Senator Duckworth, I'm not aware if we have checks to make sure if we have two lines that go down at the same time. I will have to do an IOU and check and follow up on that to make sure I answer your question appropriately.
If you could, that would be helpful.
Yes,
and if not, I would highly encourage that those,
yes,
those checks happen. We all know that now. Prior to the April radar and communications outages affecting Newark, when was the last time FAA inspected the air traffic control infrastructure in Philadelphia and Newark to ensure that the backup system will kick in the event of radar and or communications failure? And you can add that too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. After the deadly crash near Reagan National Airport, FAA closed the helicopter route involved, but a lack of coordination between FAA and the Department of Defense has continued to put the flying public at risk. And we had this conversation already. If for some reason a military aircraft could not land at the Pentagon, I don't understand why it would circle around the building, putting itself into the flight path of DCA without being directed to do so by ATC. There are many procedures that perhaps are not published procedures, but are accepted at an airport. I mean, I used to land to Midway Airport, where the procedure was circle around the tower, land to taxiway Alpha, don't blow over all of the small aircraft parked in there. But I would never, even though that was established, it was something we did routinely, I would never ever have executed that procedure without ATC directing me to do so. I could offer it to ATC, it's like, hey, how about to avoid the aircraft, can I just circle around, you know, the tower, land to taxiway Alpha? But then I would never do it unless I was given permission to do so. Mr. McIntosh, FAA is responsible for establishing those routes. Has FAA established a helicopter route that circles the Pentagon? Is that an established landing procedure?
So, yes, ma'am.
Circle to land, is that a procedure around the Pentagon?
Yes, ma'am. To answer your question, and you're a pilot and I'm a controller, so I'll be very frank with you. We have asked that question via our letter of agreement. And I think the larger question here, to be honest with you, and to your point, what we need to make sure that we assure is that everybody knows their responsibilities, which is, as a pilot, or even the heliport tower, you had an aircraft that you did not give a landing clearance to, or that aircraft aborted the landing, whatever occurred. That aircraft went back and entered Class Bravo airspace. That aircraft is not supposed to enter Class Bravo airspace without permission of air traffic control. That did not occur. My question, and I think the larger question is why did that not occur? Without compliance to our procedures and our policies, this is where safety drift starts to happen. And that's where my line of question is starting, is absent, even if absent a published go-around procedure, if we want to call it that, pilots and controllers have shared responsibilities. You do not enter Class Bravo airspace without authorization from air traffic control, and that is a question that we are asking.
Thank you. So as we've established today, there clearly continues to be a serious lack of coordination between FAA and DoD on airspace near DCA. Will FAA produce a copy of the memorandum of understanding to this committee? If portions of this memorandum need to remain non-public, the committee can make arrangements for that. Can FAA do that?
Senator Duckworth, I will make sure that we get the information that you're requesting.
Thank you. And how often are FAA air traffic controllers trained on the policies and procedures established in this MOU that governs the military's flight operations near DCA?
I'm sorry, ma'am, how often?
Are they trained up on this particular memorandum? Are they aware of it? Is something that gets reviewed?
We train on our letters of agreement and SOPs, our standard operating procedures through our training process, and then it's the application of the letter of agreement that we do every day. So this is, I wouldn't say that this is something new, but absent an aircraft entering Class Bravo airspace and a pilot deviation, what the controllers would do is was exactly what you saw them do that night, which is shared situational awareness of what's going. We have an aircraft or a pilot that's doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. And those controllers did exactly what they should have, which was give 2 aircraft to go around to ensure that we kept separation or safe separation between those 2 aircraft versus letting that continue. So while we had, in what's my opinion as a pilot deviation, I do want to commend the controllers at the time for their actions for ensuring they gave a time to go around to those 2 aircraft.
I want to join you in commending those air traffic controllers for their vigilance in that, and it was timely and appropriate. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.